My name is Harsh Jagadisan, and I'm working on eliminating business operations with SAP Operation Process Intelligence powered by HANA. And I'm going to quickly talk you through a logistics cross-talking hub scenario that we've been working with. So I'm going to introduce you to Gerd, who's the hub operations manager. He really loves his job. He's got a very high volume, high density job going on, operations going on. There are close to 60 flights landing in a span of 6 hours. That's a flight landing in or taking off in every 5 minutes. It brings in 1,500 tons of cargo, close to 300,000 shipments, and he has to ensure that each of these shipments are put onto an outbound plane and it takes off in his hub. And this happens 365 days a year. It's a highly stressful job. Kurt basically has three challenges. The first one being he feels that he's sort of flying blind because he has limited visibility into his current day's operations. For yesterday or last week's operations, he gets some Excel sheet which tells him what were the volumes and so on and so forth. But for present day's operations, he really doesn't know what's really going on in the hub. He has a very uh, stringent KPI to keep of 97% on-time performance. And given that a lot of parts of the hub rely on good old you know, labor, manual jobs, it's a really stringent KPI to keep. The third thing is he wants to dynamically allocate workforce to problem areas. He wants to allot people to solve the right problems as and when they occur in the hub. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures to quickly, make you empathize with the situation that he is in. This is the cross-docking hub. The planes are automatically guided to the right docks by the air traffic controller. The high loader unloads the unit loading devices, which carry all the shipments into the apron. There are trucks and trolleys which move the unit loading devices into the warehouse. In the warehouse, they are manually broken down and put onto long conveyor belts for sorting. They're also scanned in there, and the warehouse has a 6.5 kilometer conveyor belt. Oversized shipments are manually sorted. If the shipments are repaired, if they are damaged, and there is customs check of incoming shipments into the country. And after the sorting is done, there is buildup of the onward unit loading devices that happen. The unit loading devices are loaded onto the plane, and the plane takes off. GERD has 135 IT systems that he's relying on, and what we want to provide him is one real-time workspace. This is how GERD's workspace looks. He sees all the open shipments that are there that are in progress. He also sees all the shipments across all the phases from arrival to ground to warehouse to outbound buffer, loading and takeoff, so on and so forth. And he also sees the total volume of the shipments that are there. The total shipments, it's close to 200,000 shipments. It's really hotting up. Business is hotting up for him at that time of the evening. And he quickly sees that the load time on his outbound planes are showing red. So this is always a problematic area. If the planes, if it takes time to load the planes, then the planes may get delayed. He can go in and see individual shipments. He could slice and dice across categories. Uh, he wants to go in there into the loading area. There are oversized shipments which are causing the delay. So he can quickly collaborate with his colleagues to assign workforce dynamically, assign T4 squad to loading, and he instructs um, his colleague Thomas to assign the C4 squad, and he just goes back and he wants to take a look at how much time is spent in customs. Customs is something that can delay his shipments out, so he wants to really look at the breakdown. The to be delivered at 9 a.m. category is slightly in red, but it's not so bad, so he's happy about it. He wants to be notified if there is a problem. If it's violated, notify me early. That's what he says. And this is how he sort of gets real-time visibility. He's also a big motorsports fan, and today he knows that his hub is transporting a new DTM car, race car. So he wants to see what the status is. He can go into one specific instance. So this is the race car that's been shipped to Moscow. That's where the season premiere is happening, and it's forecasted to be on track. And it's currently in the warehouse, a bit overdue. So he would like to go to the warehouse and personally ensure that the car goes out of the hub, ready for the race tomorrow morning. He wants to see what happens to the state of the task that he's raised. He goes in here. He had invited Thomas. He goes in and sees that Thomas has assigned the squad. He's delegated to his squad lead, Laura, who's started the work. So he's happy and he just completes the task and confirms it. And that's how he gets visibility and he can collaboratively solve problems as they arise. So this is not a custom built task, a dashboard or a workspace. I have to show you how this is built very quickly. You have to meet Frank, who's a logistic solution expert, and Frank really wants to work closely with business and build such operational workspaces very iteratively for them. So Frank uses the SAP HANA Studio, and Operational Process Intelligence has introduced a new concept called business scenario in HANA. And you see that there is a new business scenario created here, and Frank has all the high-level phases here. He can assemble these high-level phases by he can configure these high-level phases. Frank can configure these high-level phases by configuring the start of a phase and end of a phase based on operational events. And these are all the operational events he's getting. And these operational events typically come from the end-to-end process, which is represented here. And this could happen across multiple systems and third-party systems, SAP, non-SAP systems. Frank can also define measures and indicators that are of interest. Once he's done configuring this business scenario, Frank just clicks on a button and he generates all the necessary HANA artifacts that are needed uh, for the scenario to run. All the calculation views, the analytical privileges, the procedures, and everything that's needed to make the scenario really run. So he doesn't have to write any line of HANA code to achieve this. Um, and because we're generating the calculation views, we're getting process events from underlying sources and creating a process data mart. Frank can also build Frank can also build reports like these for other categories of business users. This is a geographical map which says, where all the shipments are going at today using a tool like Lumira. So operational process intelligence makes it really easy for line of business users to get visibility into their processes, get the right insights, and take the appropriate actions to solve problems before they turn out to be escalations, loss of customers, or have a negative business impact.